We used the most advanced AI model and created two distinct characters to debate each other on one of the most emotionally and ethically charged questions of our time. Should abortion be legal in all cases? This thought experiment is not intended to dictate policy or personal belief, but to test the AI's ability to construct reasoned, coherent arguments on a deeply polarizing issue. The debate is conducted purely for intellectual exploration and entertainment. It does not aim to provide definitive answers, but to encourage viewers to think critically, question assumptions, and engage in civil discourse. We acknowledge the complexity and sensitivity of the topic, and we urge the audience to approach it with an open mind and rational curiosity. To ensure a fair outcome, 5 independent AI models were used to evaluate the strength and logic of both sides. No skipping. Full debate ahead.
The foundation of reproductive rights is bodily autonomy. A person should never be forced to remain pregnant against their will, whether the pregnancy resulted from rape, incest, failed contraception, or even if it's late term. Legal access to abortion in all cases protects life after birth too. It reduces maternal deaths, poverty, and cycles of trauma. We don't ask people to donate organs to save a life, even if someone is dying. So we shouldn't force people to remain pregnant to preserve another life. Choice must remain absolute to be meaningful.
Bodily autonomy matters, but so does the right to life. Not all abortions are morally equal. Late-term abortions, especially when the fetus is viable, raise serious ethical concerns. Should we permit abortions just because someone changes their mind at 30 weeks? Legalizing abortion in all cases, with no limits, erases the state's interest in protecting potential life. Reasonable restrictions are not oppression. They're moral boundaries that reflect society's duty to protect the vulnerable, including the unborn. We regulate all kinds of rights, speech, guns, even parenting, because freedom without limits can lead to harm. Abortion is no exception. A blanket all cases policy opens the door to misuse. What if a fetus has no disability, no threat to the mother, and is healthy at 8 months? Should abortion still be legal then? At some point, we must acknowledge the fetus as more than a cluster of cells. It becomes a life with brain activity, pain response, even viability. Laws must reflect that moral complexity.
That complexity is exactly why the government should stay out of it. Medical decisions are not public debates. They're private, nuanced, and often agonizing. People don't casually seek abortions at 30 weeks. Those are rare and often tied to medical crises or delayed access. Criminalizing or restricting abortion only pushes people into dangerous, underground options. Legality doesn't force anyone to abort. It just ensures that if they need to, they can do so safely and without stigma. Abortion bans disproportionately hurt the poor, the young, and people of color. They don't eliminate abortion, they just make it deadly. When we trust people to make choices about their lives, their futures, and their families, society becomes more compassionate and just. Abortion should be legal in all cases, not because every abortion is ideal, but because no one else should have the power to make that call for someone else.
Compassion must extend to the unborn too. Legal in all cases? That means even when the fetus could survive outside the womb, even for sex-selective abortions, even when the only reason is convenience. That's not justice, it's moral abdication. We can support bodily autonomy while still drawing ethical lines. Legal in most cases? Yes. But all? That's too far.
But who decides what's too far? You? The state? Morality is subjective. Forcing it into law punishes the vulnerable.
And legalizing all abortions punishes the voiceless. Viable fetuses can survive with medical support. Why should convenience override that life?
It's not about convenience, it's about control. When you ban options, you control lives. That's not ethical, it's authoritarian.
What about the ethical responsibility of carrying life? Doesn't society have a duty to protect those who can't speak?
Not at the cost of sacrificing the person already living. You can't protect life by violating it.
But unrestricted access allows abortion even when it's morally wrong. Where's the line?
The line should be drawn by the pregnant person, not the government.
Abortion is not black and white, but drawing no lines at all is dangerous. Legal access must be paired with ethical boundaries. Life matters, even potential life. Saying yes to all abortions is saying no to nuance, to moral consideration, and to the value of the unborn. We can, and must, find a middle ground that respects both autonomy and life.
There is no freedom without choice. Legalizing abortion in all cases doesn't force decisions. It empowers them. It trusts people with their own lives. And when the alternative is state control, coercion, and suffering, the moral choice is clear. Protect legal, safe abortion access in every case, because dignity demands nothing less.
Both sides presented compelling arguments in a thoughtful, emotionally charged debate on whether abortion should be legal in all cases. The pro side emphasized bodily autonomy and real-world consequences, arguing for complete freedom of choice. The con side focused on moral boundaries and the value of potential life, urging caution and ethical limits. The debate was close, with the pro side narrowly winning based on clearer logic and consistent framing. However, both arguments highlighted the deep complexity of the issue, provoking reflection rather than offering a final answer.